I'm Janice Hossteiger. After 3 decades in the marketing business and many years of being an entrepreneur, I've learned a thing or two about marketing. Join me as we talk about marketing, small business, and life in between. Welcome to My Weekly Marketing. Hey friend, if you're listening in real time, I want to say Happy New Year and welcome back to another episode of My Weekly Marketing. Today we're diving into the art of brand storytelling with the incredible Lauren Magenta. You're going to love Lauren. She is a marketing powerhouse who's mastered the magic of connecting with audiences through social media and especially with video. She got her start in the corporate world working with brands like Martha Stewart, Dove Chocolate, and Refinery29. And recently, she's been featured by Google Workplace for her mission to empower female entrepreneurs to take their businesses to the next level by using Google tools. Now she's taking all that expertise and helping brands tell their stories in a way that's authentic, impactful, and downright unforgettable. If you've been wondering how to start making videos or how to make videos that resonate, this episode's for you. So let's get into it. Well, hey, Lauren, thank you for joining us today on My Weekly Marketing.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you. You know how passionate I am about this topic.
I do. That's why you're the perfect guest to have here. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about how important it is to incorporate storytelling in social media, and specifically a little bit about video as well. So, but first, tell us a little bit about how you got here and how you landed on this mission.
Of course. So I kind of grew up with a camera in my hands, like digital cameras were the new thing, cameras with screens on the back. And I think I've just always had an eye for video.
Mm-hmm.
And through college as a journalism student, I would ask my professors, like, can I make a video about the assignment? And my journalism professors were like, but it also has to be written. But I just had a knack for visual storytelling. And so, I started my career and everything was video first. And I think the timeline of my career just blossomed perfectly as social media started to prioritize video. Facebook video was the first year of my first job. Then it turned to Instagram video, Snapchat, TikTok. So the evolution of my career has always kind of been highlighted by social media prioritizing video.
I love that. And you're absolutely right. The timing couldn't have been better, right? You grew up with these skills or learning these skills, and then suddenly industry was opening up to all of it. And yeah, so I love that. So I also love that you are really focused on telling that story. So how can entrepreneurs use their story? So I get this question a lot from clients. It's like, okay, well, I don't know how to tell my story. I worked in a bank and then I became an accountant and now I opened my accounting business, so it's like they don't know where to start. So how can they identify the right story to tell about their brand and their business?
Okay, I love that. So in Own Your Brand that I do, the 3 questions I always ask the founders is, who are you? What are you doing and why do you do it? And some people might want to write that down, but I highly recommend recording yourself answering these questions. And this isn't necessarily like, let's edit some crazy video. Truly talking to your camera about who you are. Who are you? Where do you live? What are you doing? What is that? I phrase it as like, what is your monetizable skill? What is the thing that you love to do? And what does it also do for other people? Like, what would that skill or your trade do to help other people? And why do you do it? And I think the why storytelling is what brings people in, because that is the human nature element or human interest element of someone with an expertise, is what actually brings them to the table every day to do this job. I know it sounds so basic, but the who, the what, and the why are the absolute must when storytelling for the person and the brand. Sometimes that's the same answer, but sometimes it's different. And I think telling both of those stories is important.
I love that. Just like Simon Sinek always says, people get to the why. You need to get to your why. And people are amazed by that. And it pulls people in because then you can connect with people that way too, for sure.
Well, think about it when we talk about especially storytelling on social. The why is the absolute most important part, I think, because as I say all the time, even with you, people can pick, your clients could have picked 1,000 other people to work with. Same with me. But why are they choosing us? Is it our passion? Is it our expertise? Is it our interest? Is it our location? Sometimes your why is just, here's my brick and mortar and I'm right here. But
Mm-hmm.
the why is the thing that people can really get hooked on because there's so much saturation in every market, right? Accounting, you said, one of your clients.
Mm-hmm.
There's a million accountants someone can select from, but why should I pick you? And if
Yes.
a founder can answer that question, I think that's really important.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't need to be like, you should pick me because I've done this great achievement or something like that. It can be something about someone's story, right? Because we buy an emotion. So if you tell me something about your story that, somehow overlaps with my own story or connects with me in some way, that can be enough, right? To
Yeah,
just connect with that person.
absolutely. I think you make such a good point. The why could be different things. It could be your expertise. You are just so good at what you do and you get results for other people. That's a great why.
Mm-hmm.
I have a woman that I've worked with who is also in finance. She's a great example. Her whole branding is she works with mothers, female entrepreneurs, and her branding is called the Profit Mama. And she, like, I work with her because I have 2 young kids. I'm running around. I need help with dollars in my business. Like, her why, she wants to work with working mothers. Oh, done, sold, right? Like, that's my person. And I found her. So her why I just related to on a personal level, and it had nothing at the start to do with her expertise. It was her mission is aligned with mine. So that's such a good point you make.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I also like, and I want to circle back to this later a little bit too, because I think I'm going to ask more of these questions at the end of the interview. But I wanted to, what you said about trying to understand what your why is to turn on a camera and just start talking about it. Like what you were saying is that you grew up in the digital age, but a lot of us, me included, there was no digital camera when I started taking pictures and like getting on video. I mean, we had the giant camcorders that we'd put on our shoulders. So getting on video was extremely awkward and feels really awkward. So I love what you said about just doing it. Like you don't have to do it for anybody else, right? You can just turn on your phone, get in front of it and start talking. Is that what you recommend?
Yeah. So my clients that are new to video, which trust me, I have had them, and I've had clients that have literally never put their camera to their face and spoken directly to it. Here are my tips. When you are either washing dishes, going for a walk with your dog, I have this little suction pad on the back of my phone. So I suction it to my mirror if I want to, even me, 15 years of doing this, I will suction my phone to my camera as I'm doing makeup and I will just talk to my camera looking at my face and get my words out, practice, right? Sometimes it's as simple as doing it. I have so many clients who say, oh, I'll just prop my phone while I'm doing dishes and get my thoughts out. Because if you're not used to it, it is good to practice. It is good to figure out your one-liner, kind of talk through these sentences. But I think doing another activity like your makeup, like the dishes, going for a walk, helps your brain kind of process, feel more relaxed as you're practicing getting comfortable on the camera is probably step one if someone hasn't started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even like you said, you've been doing this for 15 years and you still do it
I still
because
practice.
we can all improve no matter what we're doing, right?
Yeah. I think another really great tip, if I can share this one, is if I just had a client recently who had never done face to camera video before. And I said to her, sit up your phone and take a deep breath and envision yourself at dinner or drinks with your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And take a deep breath and you start to tell them about your business. Your passion will start to shine through the information. Like I find that founders have this thing right here in their chest of why they're doing it, what brought them to be on this mission, to be on this journey. And if you can just envision how you would talk to your best friend about your business and your venture, your journey, that's the stuff that needs to be on social. That's the relatability. So when I say like prop up your phone, envision you're talking to your best friend. The
Mm-hmm.
aha moments, which we could get to later if you want, but like what are the big takeaways you have from your business and speak those into your phone. And after a couple times, even if you're new, you will feel that energy start to flow naturally.
Oh, I love that tip. I love that because you really do connect with people then. If you're really being authentic, in fact, that was one of my questions I had for you is like, how do you build authenticity and that connection with your ideal customers. And I think it's just what you just said, right?
Yeah. I was going to say, without a doubt, it is the way I view my social following is these are people that have been through me when I was at corporate, when I met my boyfriend, who then became my husband, through my children, through growing multiple businesses. They're my friends. I mean, whether I know them and have met them in person or not, you build a community online of people who follow your journey. So when I talk to camera, I really do feel like I'm talking to people who have been with me forever. And that's part of building an audience. If someone new comes to me and they don't have an audience, I say, get online and start. Do you have a sister, by the way? I don't know if
I
you have a
do.
sister.
Hmm.
Okay. So women who have sisters will get this line, but I always say, just get on the phone and talk like you're talking to your sister. Vent like you talk to your sister. Celebrate as if your sister's going to cheer you on. Like there's nothing like a sister, and the way that they respond, they will tell it to you straight if
Yes,
it's
they will.
negative.
Yes.
Will also be the first person to celebrate you. And I think that's like maybe the sister is the best analogy for how I talk on social is I just want to share my journey, share my expertise. And if you can envision your sister on the other end of the phone, then that's the person, because that's where the authenticity will come from, what you
Hmm.
really want to share about your journey. And if I could say, I think an element when people are like, oh, it needs to be authentic, which, is like a mucky word nowadays, but I always challenge people. I say, well, then stop making it all positive. Not every single post needs to be this beautiful presentation of life and success. The alumni group, I just had them do a carousel of the ups and downs of 2024. Stop showing the highlight reel. You're a business owner. Everybody knows it wasn't cupcakes and rainbows January through December. So how can we truly tell our story? That's the most relatable content.
Oh, that is powerful. Yeah, you made me think of something that Amy Porterfield said in one of her podcast episodes. This is a while back, but she said, "I always try and I don't know how she put it, like not my bleeding wound, but my scabs afterwards, and the lesson I learned." So
Oh,
like
love that.
when you're going through a crisis, that isn't maybe necessarily the time to be sharing it, but maybe it is. I mean, we've all had days. We were just as we were setting up today my earbuds didn't work, so I mean it was, and you had microphone issues, so it's
My
like,
cord wasn't plugging in.
yeah, so I mean it's like we all have that, and that makes us all relatable. If you're always perfect, which I think social media has been highly criticized for, especially Instagram, right? We have the perfect home and the perfect office and perfect children, and it's like that ain't real, and that's not something that people, if you're trying to create a friend, you need to be transparent. And yeah, we don't want to, go on social media because we do use it as an escape mechanism, right? So we don't want to go on and burden ourselves with other people's problems, or we don't want to see other people's problems when they're scrolling necessarily. But to see some of it that's real, that's
Yeah.
not polished, I think is really refreshing.
Well, first of all, I couldn't not agree more. And this is like another great example I had with a client who's a professional home organizer. And we were talking, and I would say something, and she would say, I was coaching her on showing up in video for her brand. And she would say things like, oh, that's brilliant, or oh, that's such a great idea. And she would say things like that and then say, oh, I didn't think of it that way. And I'd say, okay, and I can't keep my closet clean to save my life. I have two little kids and 1,000 pairs of shoes. I said, that's why life is a village. And I truly think entrepreneurship is a village, because I can't be good at everything. She can't be good at everything. But we have these different skills, and that is what's finding the experts in your life. Like, you're going to come and you're going to make my systems in my closet perfect, and I'm going to help you communicate your expertise on social. So I think it's almost like if you can look at your expertise on social and share your ups and downs, that is real. Everybody has them.
Mm.
Everybody behind closed doors has things going on that they're trying to solve. But I like the way that you said that Amy phrased it. Sharing the scabs after is, and listen, some people need to share the wounds, the open wounds. Sometimes
Mm.
it's too big to hide, and you do have to show up for yourself, for your mental health, and say, things are nuts. This is what's going on. But I do think it is more strategic to do the scabs after you've processed, and you can be more honest and share. I love that line.
Yeah, time to reflect a little bit and kind of see, okay, this is what happened. This is what I learned going through it. Now I can kind of share that. Also, vulnerability is one thing, but um, on social media, there is a boundary. We can push that boundary a little bit, but we don't want to be, like I said, sharing everything because that
Yeah.
gets a little hard too. But that
To
kind of leads.
digest, for sure.
What's that?
To digest. It could be hard to
Yes.
digest.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that gets me to my next question, which is how do you overcome the fear of just kind of being a little cringy when you're sharing things? For me on video, I have this image of what I think I look like, and then I look at it, and I think everybody has that. It's like I see wrinkles. Like you're young, so I think, oh well, she can do that because she's young and she has no wrinkles, And I'm like,
Wait, first of all, look at
it's
my art. Um, this is a question I get all the time. And what I have to say is we are all our worst critic, no matter what. And everyone has very similar things that they are nervous about, whether it's their home, whether it's their physical appearance. I have people say to me, "Oh, well, I'm not hair and makeup ready today." I say, "Oh, are you hair and makeup ready 7 days a week? Is that your regular life?" And listen, there are some people who truly wake up hair and makeup ready every single day. Good for them. That is not the hill that I was born to climb each morning. But what I like to say is that if you're trying to do something that is not you, it will not come off authentic and relatable. So the more relatable thing I think is showing up as you and not standing in your way. Because if you don't show up online, on social, on video, because you are nervous about your appearance or the sound of your voice or whatever the case may be, you're only holding yourself back. I am a firm believer that social is this storytelling opportunity. I say this all the time. Social is a tool, not a task. And if you just log on every day to post and schedule and upload, and there's no strategy or there's no goal that you're going towards, may you resonate with people? Maybe, but it is a tool. So if you're able to kind of plug and play different formats, you in the car without hair and makeup, sharing a moment of your day, that is relatable. And that's what people will understand about you. Oh, on Monday, she's always running off their kids to school, or her house is always a mess on Sunday and she has to reset. Or her desk is always a mess. Why? Tell me why. Because you recorded all of these podcasts and your business is growing. But if we don't post them, if we hold ourselves back and say, well, I didn't like the way I look, or my house was messy, well, then you're not progressing in any way. You're not using social as a tool. You're not using video as a tool to better tell your story. And you're only holding yourself back as you critique yourself.
Mm,
I don't know.
okay. I'm feeling a little convicted right now.
You feel personally victimized. But
No, great. That is absolutely right. You are spot on with all of that. Yeah, for sure. Because I have clients that I look at and they say, "Oh, they're just gorgeous," and see themselves on video and they're like, "Oh no, I can't look." And I'm like, "Really? You look great,"
no,
But
it's hard. I mean, also just in general, if we could take a look at just owning a business and being an entrepreneur, or like, it is so hard. There is so much to get done. But I do think that half the battle sometimes, and well, not even half the battle, like all the time, is storytelling. If you're not the one telling your story, owning your credibility, talking about your who, what, and your why, then who's doing that for you? Right? Like, who
mm-hmm.
else is claiming your own credibility? You know, that line about you want to be in a room of people who bring your name up. Yeah, that's the dream, right? The dream is that people are talking about you in rooms you're not in. But at the end of the day, you're your marketing tool. I mean, come on, right? We both know it.
Yeah.
You are the best person to talk about what you do, claim your credibility. And if we let these little things hold us back, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I do think it will hold back the potential growth and exposure.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And that is hard. I think it's like especially maybe as women, I think we brought up to believe that we shouldn't toot our own horns. And part of marketing is doing just that. It's like maybe not,
100%.
yeah, maybe not tooting our own horns, but we've got something, everybody has something to share. And we share in our businesses. And most of us have a passion about our business. So we want to help someone on the other side. Like we have, like you said, this sort of heart connection with why we do what we do. And I love that, what you brought up, that we really need to be okay with that. Just don't let everything else get in the way. Just share that message because that is.
Well, for sure. I call it like claiming your credibility, because that in my program Own Your Brand is absolutely the thing that I do not think most women do naturally,
Mhm.
claim their credibility. And that could look a lot of different ways. That can look at the number of sales or even just getting a new client or a big win that your client had that you had a hand in. Like it is your credibility to claim. And you can do it in a very tasteful way. You can do it in a celebratory way. You can provide credit to the client who had the big win. But if it touches you and your brand, if you're not going to claim the credibility again, I don't know if as many people will do it for you or have the strength of you doing it for yourself.
Oh, that's so true. You're absolutely right. And especially it is hard when you're dealing with clients because you're not doing it for them. You've just taught them something that they're using. So you feel like, well, it's a group effort. It is a group effort, but at the same time, it is a group effort because you initiated it or you helped them or you pointed
Well, think
them in the
back
right
to the
direction.
village comment, right?
Right. Yeah,
They
yeah.
needed you for whatever, even if it was inspiration or if it was direct connection, your, spark did something that impacted them and their journey, and that should be talked about without
Mm.
it.
Oh, so good. Okay, so Black Friday, I saw an Instagram post that you had said,
Oh
don't.
gosh.
No, it was very good. It was like, don't be buying video equipment, don't get a fancy microphone, tripod. So why,
Why do I say that?
well, yeah, tell us more about that. And then also, we tell us why we don't need the big budget for creating
Absolutely.
video.
I'm very passionate, as you can see, about this. So I meet a lot of women who want to join the program and they're like, oh, but I need a tripod or I need a ring light or I don't have the right camera. Which digital camera should I get? And I always say, well, what are you posting now? What are you trying to make better? Right? Because at the end of the day, I do need a microphone to do my podcast and record certain voiceovers at the level of my career that I'm at.
Hmm.
But if a brand is not already storytelling, the microphone, the tripod and the ring light are not going to magically do that. I think people look at social and think, oh, I want my content to look like her. So
Hmm.
then they DM them and say, oh, which camera do you use? Or which tripod do you use? And storytelling is not perfection. It's not video production, let's say. It's you. The real storytelling is who you are, what you do, and why you do it. And I tell brands this all the time. And now, if a brand comes to me and they want to launch a podcast or they have all of these new followers or this is incredible story they're telling and they want to put it on YouTube and they want it to be high resolution or start a podcast, I'll say, okay, this is the equipment you need. But if you are not currently telling a story, I promise you a $40 tripod will not inspire you to tell that story. Where is your list of content? Where is your list of credibilities, your story of your journey, your big wins, why you're doing this? Record those on your phone, upload them, respond to people, talk to people. And when those start to perform, if you want better quality or something that looks different, then we can talk about equipment. But it starts with you and your story. And I really, really believe that.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So, when you are telling your story, it's not something you do once and you're done, right? So it's like, because I hear clients will tell me this too. It's like, well, I have that already. It's on my about page, and it's like, well, that's
Oh,
okay.
that one kills me. Everyone's like, oh, it's on my website. And I mean, you know me at this point. I'm quite to the point. I'm like, yeah, no one's been to your about page.
Yeah.
Like maybe, okay, that was harsh. Let me rephrase. People have been to your about page, but it needs to be repeated again and again and again. This is so real. So the program Own Your Brand I do is 6 weeks. And I tell people all the time, the goal of this program is for you to own your brand and storytell in video and social. What you can do is this program every 6 weeks, every 2 months, once a quarter. You
Mhm.
reignite your story and your journey, the same content now between you and me on social. There are new formats, right? There are carousels, there's stories, there's feed. But why can't you tell your reintroduction video? By the way, that's the thing I would say I would that's the freebie that we can put as a part of this podcast.
Hmm.
But the reintroduction script that I give to everybody, do that on stories. Then in 2 months, do it as a reel. Then do a picture of yourself, a headshot, do it as a caption. You can retell your story again and again. Now, mind you, your story is going to change. In a year, you may launch something else. You may have a big win to share. You may have a personal journey that you've been on, or a personal life change, a big move, or something that you want to share. But I think the core storytelling of who you are, what you do, and why can be repeated endlessly.
Mm-hmm.
I have been telling my journey online for, I don't know, 15 years now. I mean, 20 years if you count my blog when I was when I was younger, right? It's the same story. It's an entrepreneurial woman who wanted to share her life, and I had a blog. Social media didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Then there was Instagram. I started sharing pictures. Then there were videos. I was able to go onto YouTube, right? It's the same story. It's the same woman all these years. It's just the story has changed. It's adapted. My priorities have changed, but the who I am, what I do, and why I do it is the same story I'm telling again and again.
So now that I can see. So people oftentimes will say, well, yeah, that's great if you're a personal brand, but what if you have a business that's not a personal brand? How do you tell that story?
Oh, well, so, okay, that is a wonderful question. And some people, of course, personal brands, that's easy. Product-based, service-based businesses, it's the same thing. So when we say, I just signed a woman who does not want to show her face and she has a product. So what we talk about is, what is this? What is her product that she sells? Literally give me the credentials, the list, tell me where to purchase, when to purchase, why would I want to purchase this? And more information, who gets my product? Who is this for? You're speaking more to whether you're brand to brand or right to consumer. Tell me about the product. Bring your product to life as if it's a person. How is it used? I think this was a big thing I saw as a flop on Black Friday. The people that were doing sales that were pushing the discount. This is a great example for this. So, for example, let's use a handbag, for example. They would say 30% off handbags, 30% off handbags. We have 30% off on our site again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why should I buy your handbag over anybody else's? What does your handbag do that's different? What is the one thing that makes it different than any other handbag? The video should start with that. The video, the voiceover, the text should say the one handbag you need to start 2025 with. Now, this is a made up handbag. This is a brand I just made up in my head. But like, there needs to be a one-liner for why I need this handbag. That's what's going to sell me. Not that it's 30% off. Everybody's on sale. Everybody's on sale. How do you break through the noise? So then if we remove Black Friday and we say, okay, fine, year round, how is a product-based business supposed to sell? What is this product? What is it going to do for me? What has it done for other people? Claim credibility product we're selling. Who loves this product? Is it for moms? Is it for kids? Is it for people on the go? Is it for career men and women? What makes it unique? Is it machine washable? Is it waterproof? Is it a leather that doesn't XYZ? Sell us truly on the function of the product and why I need it, with either information or passion behind it.
Awesome.
I don't know, is that helpful?
Oh, that's so good. You were just like on a soapbox about this. I love that.
Well, I did see, I have to say, I got pretty passionate after Black Friday for the brands, because as you can envision, I follow so many brands.
Yeah.
And I think a flop I saw was, in particular, brands doing 10 or 15% off and just saying, sale, sale, sale. I have no urgency to go to your website for the sale unless I've had my eye on this product for a while and I really want it. I want brands to forget that type of messaging and really go back to, what is this going to do for me? Or why is this the thing I absolutely need? And turn that into video. Start with a one-liner. The only belt you need in your closet.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, because it's short, it's to the point. So how long should a video be to like grab your attention? Now, obviously there are limitations depending on the platform you're using.
For sure. That's a great question. So in my coaching group, I say that a feed should be very diverse in time, in everything, in formats and time. So you should see 3-second videos on your feed, but you should also see 90 seconds. And it all goes down to formats. So if you're reintroducing yourself and who you are and what you do, that's a 60 to 90-second video. But if you're launching, or you have one spot open for something, or you have a client that wrote you a testimony that is just 5 stars and through the roof, You can add that as a reel with trending audio and just share that, right? That's a 3-second reel. We don't
Mm-hmm.
need to have that be too long. So I would say, depending on the point you're trying to get across, your feed should be diverse on social with anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds to 60 to 90 seconds.
Okay.
Um, the one thing I'd love to say is that the most important part of your video is the first 0 to 3 seconds. If there is not a hook there, if there is not a reason to sell me on this piece of content, I am going to scroll. And I don't mean I, but I mean the collective I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
are going to scroll. So no matter how long the video is, the first 0 to 3 seconds matters the most.
Hmm. So is there an easy way to brainstorm like video ideas, or do you have like a list of things that you recommend that like everybody should have these 5 videos, for example, or
Yeah.
put them on repeat, for example?
Yeah. Well, I would say for you, of course, I mean, when I work with brands, we make them custom content calendars. But I would say for your audience, if they are just starting out with video, a video of who they are, introducing themselves. If it is a product, a video of introducing the product. What is it? When was it founded? And what does it do? Why? Now, product or service, it does not matter. Why should I invest my time and energy with you or your product? A why video.
Mhm.
Now, if it's a product-based business, it could be as simple as showing the product with text on screen for what sets your product apart. So
Love
I think
that.
that who, what, and why is the absolute best place to start with. And then I would say if it's a founder focused business, one thing I highly recommend is something that I teach called aha moments, which allow the founder to have these moments. Like if you're calling your sister, like we said at the beginning, what would be the one thing you took away from your business day or business week? What is one thing you learned that you felt like, oh, I really need to dive into that? Or everybody keeps asking me, like whatever your FAQs are about your product or your service, there should be a video on your feed about that.
Mm,
And each one
very good.
individually, it could be
Yeah.
15 seconds answering an FAQ.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to overthink all of this.
No, short and sweet, short
Hmm.
and sweet.
Yeah. That's where I get into trouble, the overthinking.
Everybody does. Everybody does.
All right. Well, this has been super, super informative. This is why I love being a podcaster, because I get to have these amazing guests on here that I learn something new absolutely with every guest. So I love it. So
I love it.
how can people learn more about you, or how can they connect with you?
Yeah, of course. Well, haha website. I do have a website, laurenmagenta.com, which has all my info of the way that people and brands can work with me. But I'm very present on social. My handle is also Lauren Magenta. I really do. I share my whole day, I share my whole life, and I work with female entrepreneurs to help them better tell their story on social. That is my goal. How do we raise up our own storytelling to better sell our products and services?
Oh, so good. Well, thank you so much, Lauren.
Thank you
I
for having me.
appreciate
This
you.
was an amazing way to start my day.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
perfect. Lauren had such great advice, and I love the energy she puts off. I really think it's a huge contributing factor for her success in video, too. To learn more about Lauren, or grab her free download, or find out more about anything we talked about in today's episode, visit our show notes page at myweeklymarketing.com/89. And as always, if you found this episode helpful in any way, please share the love with a review. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The more reviews I have, the more small business owners I can help. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.